Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the January 2021 energies for life path number 9. So, nines, January is what we call a 6 universal month. And what that means is that collectively, we may see some resurfacing of things that showed up for us back in November, because November 2020 was also a 6 universal energetic month. And so you may see things come back up around family, community, health, things that maybe surfaced back in November, but maybe we didn't take care of, or we pushed under the rug because we didn't want to deal with it at that time. And so you may see those things crop back up around this time to be fully dealt with and to be, released. So there can be new things that show up around these areas as well. But for some reason, I just have this feeling like there's going to be some resurfacing as well. So just be aware of that. Honesty, fairness, and genuine concern for others will be showing up this month for many. This is an opportunity for empathy. This is an opportunity for the collective to get reacquainted with what it means to be empathetic. So again, you may be called to have those honest conversations with yourself, with others. You may be asked to be the one who brings the fairness to a situation and tries to see both sides. You may be called to be the mediator. But it's just this call to, again, put yourself in others' shoes, to have empathy, and to truly be concerned genuinely for others. And what's interesting is, I know this is a 6 energy month, but this is very in line with the core essence of a 9 energy. So you guys are the humanitarians. When you're aligned, when you are, vibrating at your highest frequency, you are the humanitarians. You release judgment. You don't hold grudges. You're able to show up to a relationship and a situation in fairness and in honesty. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of things pop up for you this month, or what kind of challenges, that sort of thing. Pay attention to those because they're highlighting for you where you yourself can fall back into alignment with your own 9 energy. You may see energy, or we may see collectively energy showing up around setting healthy boundaries. And this is really in line with not taking on unnecessary obligations or overly burdensome commitments. So if somebody asks you to do something or tells you to do something, and it just feels beyond the scope of what you are emotionally or physically capable of doing in this moment, it is okay to say no and to ask for them to respect that boundary. So just be aware of how you invest your time this month. And always, but especially this month, because there may be some situations where people are really trying to get every ounce that they can get out of you, and that's just going to leave you feeling depleted. So it's up to you to set those boundaries and then adhere to those boundaries, and then also obviously respect the boundaries of others as well. We may see a strong focus on children, family, or a change in the home or living situation. And so this can simply be, you finding out you're pregnant or having a baby, or your children are leaving for college and now it's an empty nest syndrome. So that's like a change in the living situation. Or you may find that you are changing locations. You're actually moving states, or, wherever you live, you're moving to a new area, and that causes a disruption in your children's schooling, and now you have to get them enrolled in other schools. So it's kind of like that sort of energy where there's this focus on children, family, change in the home. And it could be that there's an elderly parent who comes in and needs your assistance, and that can feel overly burdensome, but it's also something that needs to be addressed. So, and that can also be a change in the living situation. So things like that may pop up. There's also going to be this extraordinary need for peace and harmony this month. And I feel like this is where we're going to see some extreme polarizations collectively. So just remember that you can choose what you participate in, okay? Not only can you choose, but you should choose what you participate in, and choose wisely. So again, this is going to be one of those situations where it's like we're not meant to look to the external to bring us peace and harmony, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of discord in the collective at this time as we lead from January into February as well. And so there's really this call to take that responsibility of finding your own peace and harmony. What brings joy to your life? What brings, where in your home is sacred for you that you can go to catch your breath, to pause. Those are going to be really important themes this month. And so find your peace and harmony, whatever ways work for you. It's going to be different for everyone. So find what works for you. And then we may also see this theme around beautification. And so you may find that you feel overly called to beautify yourself. So maybe you go to the spa, maybe you have your hair done, maybe you get a makeover or start a new healthy living approach or whatever. You may find that you are called to beautify your home. So doing some remodeling or buying new furniture or whatever the case may be. You may also find that you're called to spend more time in nature, which is just that natural setting that is beautiful in its own right. So again, the question becomes, how can you bring more beauty into your life? How can you bring more peace and harmony into your life? Those are going to be the key components for this month, so pay attention to those energies. Okay, so I pulled an animal spirit card to see what sort of the overall energy for nines might be this month. And it's interesting because you guys got honeybee. And honeybee's message is, let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. And what I find really interesting about this, nines, is that, again, when you guys are in alignment with your core energy, you are very forgiving, you're very compassionate, you are the humanitarian. So you are not a doormat, but you are the one who will bring that love and light to others and a situation, right? You won't be one to hold a grudge. You will be more forgiving, you will be more understanding. Now, when you're in your shadow side, when you're sort of out of alignment, and remember, we fall in and out of alignment throughout our entire lifetime. So it's not about being perfect. It's about finding that sweet spot and then finding your way back to it, okay? So what I find interesting about this is, for those that are sort of out of alignment, you may find yourself getting really frustrated with other people, getting really angry with others, really feeling that need to be right at all costs and just letting it consume you. And so again, the message from Honeybee is, let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. So as things arise for you this month, nines, that really trigger you or get your back up, just remember that the nines core energy is that humanitarian essence, is that essence of forgiveness. And I always think of, like, I don't know if she was a nine, but I always think of like Mother Teresa, and that's a really high bar to meet, but that's really who I think of when I think of nine energy, because it's that, closeness to the higher spirit realm, that closeness to God or whoever your higher power is, and that unconditional love. And so that's a big task for any human to sort of live by and embody, but that is at the core of your essence. I mean, it's ultimately at the core of everyone's essence, but really nines came here to lead by example. And so if there's situations in your life where you find yourself being overly judgmental, overly unforgiving, lacking compassion, any of those things, and I understand that if you're in that vibe, it's hard to see beyond that. And so you may or may not be aware of it if you're doing that. But, we're still human. And so even those who have sort of transcended that lower energy, you still will have times where you'll dip back into that. And the key is being aware of it and then figuring out how to move beyond it. Okay, so when you find yourself being judgmental, when you find yourself being overly opinionated about how another person is living their life or doing what they're doing or whatever the case may be, then that is really a call to be aware of it and rectify it. Okay. So I just find Honeybee's message so poignant because it's such an essence of 9 energy. Okay. So moving into January, so I broke the month down into 4 weeks, and it's interesting. There's really like a lot of emotions going on this month for nines. I can see a lot of sweet spots and a lot of it could be salty spots if you again let the more lower vibe take over. So very first week of the month, it's interesting because I kind of see a lot of internal work for nines this month, and I feel like that's been such a theme for you all. So, but such a profound month as well. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first week of January, I see this energy around you continuing to keep going back to a situation that continues to leave you feeling defeated. So this can be a relationship, this can be a job, this can be whatever it is in your life that you keep going back to and either getting rejected or showing up more with more energy towards the situation than the other person or the other thing. You're showing up, like let's just use career, let's just use a job. You're showing up to a job that you give it your all, and you're just not feeling fulfilled. You're not seeing the monetary rewards. You're not seeing the energetic exchange, and it leaves you feeling defeated, right? And you're so focused on whatever this is that you're missing the bigger picture. You're missing your out, okay? So if this is a relationship, then this really feels like a one-sided relationship. So you just continue to show up to it. You continue to try to be everything for this person, and they're just not capable of meeting you where you're at. And so you end up feeling depleted because you're giving more to the relationship than is being received. And so the message is, you're the only one that can remove yourself from the situation. You're the only one who can, I mean, I say that, right? Obviously the other person has a choice too, but for your own sanity, right? It's kind of like if you keep showing up to something that is not fulfilling for you, or it's not a balanced energetic exchange, then it's up to you to make a change. It's up to you to shift your focus. And so this first week, I'm really seeing this call for a shift in focus, and that's up to you to do, right? So it's kind of like whatever it is that you're lasered in on and you keep showing up, but you keep finding yourself feeling just overwhelmed by the level of defeat or lack of exchange, then again, it's up to you to turn around, shift your focus, and invest your energy somewhere else. So again, it even comes back to, because nines have a tendency, again, when you're sort of in your shadow phase, to take on more than you should, or take on more than you are capable of processing. So again, taking on those unnecessary obligations, trying to fix others and taking on their burdens, those overly burdensome commitments, right? And so I feel like you're going to have an opportunity this month to really zero in on what you keep showing up to that's just, that feels very unbalanced, okay? So again, it's just you showing up and feeling really beaten up after this situation. So it's up to you to take the reins back, to make the decision that you're going to shift that focus and make a change. And then whatever that change looks like will present itself, right? But you have to say yes first. You have to choose to no longer participate in whatever this is and then make a change, okay? Okay, and then we move into the second week of January. And what's interesting is then we have this really beautiful, like wish being granted, this really like synchronistic energy where you can almost feel the universe conspiring to work with you. And you don't feel like it's working against you, right? And so I feel like this is a continuation of the energy from that first week where it's like, you fully recognize, okay, I can't keep showing up. I can't keep doing this the way I'm doing it because I'm getting the same results and the results suck. So it's kind of like, I need to make a change. And then it's like you make that decision. And then the second week, you can kind of start to see the universe tripping over itself to make, to help you get back into alignment. So it's really this again, it just feels very synchronistic. Pay attention to those reoccurring numbers, to finding a feather if you're out on a walk, to seeing a particular animal, to those real or people just showing up out of nowhere that seem to have the missing piece to the puzzle. Those very synchronistic events. Pay attention to those, because they may happen frequently this week, and they're very important. And they're oftentimes, when we see those reoccurring numbers, a lot of times that's just the message from the universe being like, I've got you, I've got your back, I'm working on this. Give me some time to work on this to make this happen for you. Be patient. And so again, it's just that understanding that you're in a partnership with Source, with the universe, with your soul. And you can, it's okay to do your part and then sit back and let the universe do its part. So it may feel very eerie this week as far as all of the synchronicities that you see. Like I said, you might see, every time you look at the clock, you see 1:11 or 11:11 or 10:10 or, 12:21 or whatever the case may be, right? Or 12:12. When you see those, pay attention to your mindset when you see them and what was on your mind when you see them. If you can't remember or if you don't know, then just see it as the universe reminding you that this is a partnership and they've got your back. Okay. Then we move into the third week of January, and it's interesting because it's like it's like this energy of like you're throwing a party, right? I don't know. This is just an example. You're throwing a party. You've put all this energy into this party. You've created all kinds of yummy treats and have fun drinks and fun games to play. And you're ready. You sent out the invitations, and the party is supposed to start, but nobody's showing up. And there's kind of this energy for a moment this week where it's like, where is everyone? I put in all of this energy, it kind of can be sort of that self-pity a little bit. But it's kind of like, I put all of this in and nothing's happening. No one's showing up. Like I made all these changes, or I did all these things, and I'm just standing here. There's nothing happening. And so you can get very overwhelmed by that emotion, the emotion of that. But the call is really to pause and to understand that the work that you put in is going to assist you in the long run. So you might not see the results immediately, but they're coming. So pay attention to your emotional reactions, or how this kind of triggers you or affects you if that shows up. And just understand it's like, the people are coming, the experiences are coming, the opportunities are coming, and probably pretty quickly, actually. I feel like it's kind of like you have this moment this week where you just feel like you've invested or done all this stuff, and like nobody appreciates you, or nobody's showing up for you, or, whatever the case may be. And it's kind of like that energy going back to honeybee of, let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. Understand that, other people are going through their own things. They're juggling their own experiences and their own challenges and all of that. And it's like, sometimes we can feel like we're being unheard or unseen. But that's not always the case, even if that's how it feels in the moment. And so I just feel like there's an opportunity here for you to get really caught up in your emotions and let that affect your relationships. But really the call is just, again, to remember that your work will pay off. It just takes a little bit of time. And those people who are meant to be a part of that experience will show up. Okay. So just pay attention to your reactions this week, and try not to overreact when things don't necessarily turn out exactly the way that you had hoped that they would. Just understand that they're going to turn out the way that they need to help you progress forward, okay? So again, just have a little bit of leniency with the universe, a little bit of understanding and compassion for the universe as it works its magic to, again, to work with you as opposed to against you, okay? So then we move into the fourth week of January, and this is kind of where I feel like you start to see some of those rewards. So it's kind of like, that's what I mean when I say it feels kind of quick. So it's kind of like, that third week, you have an opportunity to sort of get in your emotions a little bit heavily, and kind of your view of the world is a little skewed, or your view of your experience is a little bit skewed. Um, or you're being a little overly, I don't want to say overly dramatic, but I'm just saying like you're just overly emotional about, or hypersensitive about what you've put in, and you're not seeing the results, right? But now we move into that fourth week, and that's where I mean, like, it's kind of like all of a sudden someone shows up, or, or someone reaches out, and they accept whatever it is that you are offering, and they love it. And it just is this beautiful opportunity for expansion and growth, and just a new friendship, or whatever the case may be. But it's kind of like you put the offer out there, you put well, yeah, it feels like you putting like an offer of some sort out there that third week, and not getting any bites, and then kind of feeling bad about that. But then that fourth week comes, and you start getting bites, and people start taking you up on those offers and those opportunities, and you can kind of see how these new partnerships, these new friendships, these new experiences and relationships, or job opportunities can be really, really financially rewarding, emotionally rewarding in the long run, right? So it's kind of like, it's interesting. It's a very interesting energy this month for you all. It's kind of like the beginning of the month, you're like, okay, I can't keep doing things the way that I've been doing them, and I'm taking a stand. I'm taking the reins back. Then you move into the second week, and it's very synchronistic energies, and you feel very aligned with the universe, and like things are just kind of like everything's kind of conspiring to work with you. Then you move into the third week of January, and it kind of feels like you're doing all this and making these offers and putting all these feelers out there, but not getting any bites. And then maybe feeling really bad about yourself, or having self-doubt, or like feeling overly emotional or hypersensitive to the situation. And then you move into the fourth week, and it's like you start to see those tangibles coming in. You start to see those opportunities to explore. And it's kind of like that feeling in the fourth week of looking back over the third week and being like, oh man, why was I so upset about this? Because this worked out great, right? So it's kind of, again, it's just like, be in touch with your emotions this month. Be in touch with, how you're showing up to relationships, to other people, to experiences. And don't forget about that level of compassion and forgiveness, because that is going to be your best friend, not only in January, but throughout your lifetime. That's really such a core piece for nines. So the beautiful aspects are coming. You just have to kind of, find that emotional maturity, find that, that strength to kind of move through the things that you need to move through this week to get to the other side. And just know that the universe has got your back. Okay? All right, nines, thank you so much. This was a general reading. If you're interested in a personalized reading, please book some time with me. I have a variety of options available for you. I'd love to work with you. Until we meet again, take care. Bye for now.